Welcome to the deep dive. Okay, so today we're getting into a story that, well, it peels back the layers on a life that looks pretty perfect from the outside. You know the type.
Mm-hmm.
Think of a couple, let's call them Sarah and Daniel. Married 6 years, cozy home, steady jobs. It all looks ideal.
Right. The picture-perfect scenario.
Exactly. But underneath all that, these tiny, quiet cracks start to appear, and they grow, leading to this really profound shift, this unraveling. So this isn't just about, an affair.
No, it's much deeper than that.
It's a deep dive into those unspoken things, the needs that aren't being met, and then the really, really tough road of trying to rebuild something after a major betrayal.
And what's so fascinating, I think, about this kind of narrative is how it really forces you to look past the surface, doesn't it? To see the hidden dynamics that can be playing out, even in relationships that seem totally stable. So our goal today really is to sort of pull out the universal lessons from Sarah and Daniel's journey. Things about communication, connection, the huge importance of connection. And the maybe surprising ways relationships can fall apart, and sometimes just maybe find a way to reform.
Okay.
We'll look at how these small distances, maybe unnoticed at first, turn into these huge canyons, and the powerful pull of feeling seen by someone new, the awful weight of secrets, and then that long, uncertain path towards healing, or at least understanding.
So let's set the scene a bit more. Sarah and Daniel, right? On the surface, life was good. Cozy house, decent jobs, these comfortable routines like Sunday breakfasts, walks in the evening.
Predictable, comfortable.
Yeah, and the friends, they apparently saw them as totally made for each other. The couple everyone looks up to. It really looked perfect.
Yeah, and that right there, that's often where the quiet erosion starts. Because even with all that outward stuff looking good, Sarah started feeling this deep sense of emptiness.
Yep.
Yeah, and it wasn't like a big dramatic thing. Not overnight. It was slow, kind of insidious. But Daniel, he genuinely thought things were fine.
Right. From his perspective, maybe they were.
For him, yeah. Love had sort of settled into this comfortable groove, Predictability was good. But here's the crucial bit, the detail that really shows the gap widening. Daniel just didn't notice the look in her eyes when she asked how his day was.
He missed it.
Totally missed it. And missed the sighs, the long silences, the way she stared at the bedroom ceiling at night. He was there physically, but maybe not emotionally tuned into her world anymore.
That drifting apart, where the silence gets louder than anything else. I think many people listening, especially those who've thought a lot about relationship dynamics, will recognize that feeling.
Yeah.
What makes those invisible cracks so dangerous? And are there psychological reasons why partners just miss them until it's almost too late?
Well, yeah, it really brings us to this core idea in relationship psychology, something we call emotional attunement. It's way more than just hearing the word someone says, right? It's about really getting and responding to your partner's unspoken feelings, the subtle stuff, the needs underneath.
Like reading between the lines.
Exactly. And when routines become walls, like in this story, it's often because that attunement has just faded. Daniel, thinking things were fine, essentially blinded him to Sarah's quiet distress. It created this, you could call it an intimacy gap or an emotional vacuum.
An emotional vacuum. I like that.
Yeah, and it's a pretty universal thing. Stability is great, but without that active, genuine connection, you can feel incredibly alone even when you're together. And that makes the relationship vulnerable.
Vulnerable to outside influences, you mean?
Precisely. And that vacuum, eventually, it seeks to be filled somehow. For Sarah, it happened at her usual cafe. Her regular spot was taken one day.
Just a random thing.
Totally random. But it led to this seemingly innocent chat with a stranger, Alex. Started with a comment about a book they were both reading.
Okay, harmless enough.
It seemed that way. But that quick chat turned into 15 minutes, then an hour. And soon it became a pattern. These casual meetups that Sarah told herself were just harmless friendship.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. It's amazing how subtly that line can get blurred, isn't it? What's
Mm.
going on there psychologically when those emotional boundaries just start to dissolve, almost without you realizing it.
Right.
Well, Sarah's experience with Alex really shines a light on a key vulnerability in, frankly, a lot of long-term relationships. That deep, deep human need to feel truly seen.
Seen. Okay.
Alex was, as the story puts it, curious about her thoughts. Not her schedule, not her responsibilities, just her. This direct, focused attention. It made Sarah feel more alive than her routine did.
I can see how that would be appealing.
Incredibly appealing, especially when you feel invisible or just taken for granted at home. Even seemingly small bits of external attention can feel like this huge validation. It pulls you towards whoever's filling that emotional void.
So it's like a magnet.
Kind of. And the narrative shows that slippery slope really clearly, from what she thought was a harmless friendship to a point where emotions don't always follow logic. Suddenly, she's checking how she looks before leaving the house, smiling at his texts, even starting to dread going home a little.
Oh, man.
And then comes that key moment.
Mm.
One rainy evening, Alex gently touches her hand. Just a touch. But in that instant, the story says, everything shifted. The line she swore she wouldn't cross.
Mm.
Emotionally, she was already way past it.
Wow. It's quite chilling how that shift can feel almost predetermined once those feelings take root. And I guess once that emotional line was crossed, the lies had to start, right?
Absolutely. The practical deception follows the emotional one. Small lies at first,
Yeah.
Working late, meeting a friend, stuck in traffic.
The usual excuses.
Exactly. And Daniel, busy with his own stuff, meetings, deadlines. You barely noticed at first. They were just sort of moving past each other. And Sarah, she rationalized it, told herself it wasn't a real affair, no kiss yet, no promises, just warmth, laughter, attention.
But that's the thing with secrets, isn't it?
It is. They demand more of you over time. Alex wasn't just a cafe guy anymore. It escalated. Late night texts, sharing songs, sending photos. That connection got much deeper, much faster, and the lies had to get bigger.
Which must have been exhausting.
Incredibly stressful. And then came the point of no return. The night one glass of wine led to two, and then the kiss.
Ah, there it is.
Yeah. And coming home that night, Sarah felt it. It was terrifyingly real. The weight of what she had done press against her chest like a stone. But at the same time, Daniel's instincts were finally screaming.
He started to suspect.
His instincts whispered louder. He started noticing things, a strange silence in her eyes. Her phone always face down on the table.
Classic sign.
Totally. Those subtle shifts in behavior that wave red flags when someone's hiding something big. That time before the discovery. It's often described as this kind of relational limbo. One person knows the secret, the other feels this growing unease, but doesn't know why.
The tension, living that double life, must have been immense for Sarah. And then, the moment it all came crashing down, the discovery.
Yeah. Daniel, who apparently wasn't the snooping type usually, just felt this overwhelming need to know. His gut was telling him something was deeply wrong.
So he checked the phone.
He picked it up while she was in the shower.
Yeah.
And bam, there it was, the message from Alex that blew everything apart. Last night was unforgettable. I can't stop thinking about you. When can I see you again?
Oh my God.
The story says the room went silent, as if the air had been sucked out of it. And then Sarah walks back in, sees her phone in his hand, sees the screen. And that silence that followed was louder than any scream.
You can just picture it. The whole world just cracking open right there. What actually breaks in a moment like that? It's more than just trust, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. That discovery. It's not just about the act of infidelity itself. It's the complete shattering of a reality. For Daniel, everything he thought he knew about his marriage, his wife, their future, just gone, annihilated in an instant. And it's not just the kiss or the message. It's the weight of all the secrecy, all the small lies piling up that created this massive wall of deception. It's the demolition of their shared story, their shared truth. It leaves the betrayed partner completely adrift, lost in shock, disbelief, anger, just profound disorientation.
So then came the immediate fallout, described as a house divided, just cold.
Yeah, the description is stark. Daniel at the kitchen table, coffee cold, just staring. Sarah whispers his name, and he just says, "I'm not ready to talk."
Wow.
His voice apparently flat, distant, filled with this emptiness that's almost worse than rage. He slept on the couch. For days, they were just like ghosts in the same house. A silent war.
That sounds unbearable.
It is. And when Sarah finally breaks down, desperate, saying, "I made a mistake, I was lost," Daniel's response is just devastatingly honest.
What did you say?
He said, "You didn't just hurt me, Sarah. You broke something we built for years, something I thought was unshakable."
Oof, that hits hard.
It really does. Because it's not just about his personal pain.
Right.
It's about the destruction of everything they built together, their history, their future plans. So when he asks for time, apart, to figure out who we are, who we were, and if there's anything left that wasn't about punishing her.
It was about survival.
Yeah, a desperate need for space to even begin to process the wreckage and figure out if anything at all could be salvaged. But that little detail, his glance back as he left, offering that thin, barely breathing hope. It says so much about how fragile hope is when you've been wounded that deeply.
And Sarah, left alone in that silent house.
Yeah.
She finally started doing the work, didn't she? The work on herself.
Yes, finally. Journaling, therapy, seeing a counselor on her own. And importantly, the story notes she wasn't trying to make excuses or justify what she did. She was trying to understand it and grow from it.
That's a big shift.
Huge. And after about a week of this really intense self-reflection, she sends Daniel a message. And it's quite remarkable. She says, "I'm not asking for forgiveness yet. I just want you to know I'm working on myself. Not for us. For me, I owe it to the person I used to be."
Wow. Taking responsibility, not for him, but for herself.
Exactly. It's this move from self-deception to self-reckoning, finally facing that inner emptiness that led her astray in the first place.
And what's really striking there, I think, is that the first real step towards maybe possibly reconciling wasn't about them as a couple immediately.
No, not at all. It was about individual accountability, taking ownership.
Yeah.
Daniel didn't reply right away, but clearly her word struck a chord. Reminded him maybe of the person he fell in love with.
And then?
3 weeks later, he shows up, keys in hand. The story says he was not sure if he was ready to come back for good, but he was ready to talk.
Just ready to talk.
Yeah. It's not glamorous, is it? It's quiet, but it's honest. And that step, moving from total shutdown to just being willing to open a conversation again, that's massive. It shows that sometimes you have to heal yourself a bit first, individually, before you can even think about trying to heal the U.S. food.
So, okay. They're back under the same roof, but like you said, the real work is just starting. They begin couples therapy, and they know it's not a quick fix.
Definitely not.
The description is tough. Raw honesty and tears. But also, interestingly, moments of understanding and laughter popping up too. Maybe glimpses of what they lost or could find again.
Possibly.
For people listening who might be in or have been in similar situations, what actually happens in therapy after something like this? How do you even begin to rebuild trust when it's been so completely shattered, when, like the story says, the wounds remained?
That's such a critical question because, yeah, people often think therapy is just about fixing the person who cheated or forcing forgiveness, but it's way more complex. This story shows it's a marathon, right?
Yeah.
Not a sprint, and it is incredibly hard work.
So what does that work look like?
A huge part of it is what we call radical honesty. And that doesn't just mean confessing the facts of the affair. It means digging into the why.
The unmet needs, the gaps you talked about earlier.
Exactly. The personal vulnerabilities that led to it. And for the partner who was hurt, It means being able to express the full, raw depth of their pain, their anger, without holding back.
Mm.
And crucially, for the partner who strayed, it means listening to that pain, truly hearing it, taking responsibility, and just sitting with that discomfort without getting defensive or trying to minimize what happened.
That sounds intensely difficult for both of them.
It is, incredibly. And rebuilding trust, it happens bit by tiny bit. It's not just saying, I won't do it again. It's about total transparency in everyday life.
Like what?
Meticulous accountability, sharing schedules openly, being reachable, answering calls, offering details without being pushed, being willing to answer the same painful questions over and over again if needed.
Patience is key then.
Huge amounts of patience. The story shows Sarah learning to face her loneliness without running away, to express her needs without fear. That self-awareness is crucial. And for Daniel, it was learning to listen, not just to words, but to feelings hidden beneath silence. Really trying to understand the unspoken stuff, the lingering doubts, and actively working to rebuild that emotional attunement they lost.
And those moments of laughter or understanding in therapy.
They're like little breakthroughs, glimmers of hope, reminders of the shared humanity that makes reconciliation even possible. But they don't erase the wound. The story is clear. The wound remained. It becomes a scar, part of their story. But with ongoing effort, it doesn't have to be an open, bleeding wound forever. Those small victories, a smile that feels real, a touch that connects, talking without blame, they become huge signs that maybe, just maybe, the incredibly hard journey is worth continuing.
So, thinking about the bigger picture here, for anyone navigating these kinds of complex relationship issues, especially after a huge breach, it sounds like it's not about pretending it didn't happen.
No, you can't erase it. It's about integrating it.
Right. Integrating it into a new reality for the relationship.
Precisely. This story really leaves us with the idea that honesty, even when it's agonizing, and forgiveness, which is often a long, non-linear process, are the starting points for real healing. And whether that healing ultimately leads to them staying together, maybe even stronger and more authentic, or whether it leads to a respectful separation. The journey itself, the self-discovery, the honest communication. That's incredibly valuable either way.
Yeah.
It's not about getting back to normal. That old normal is gone.
Yeah, you can't go back.
You can't.
Yeah.
It's about forging a new normal, one built on a much deeper, maybe harder one, understanding of yourselves and each other, acknowledging the vulnerabilities and actively, consciously choosing to nurture that connection every day.
So this deep dive into Sarah and Daniel's story, it's a powerful reminder, isn't it? That relationships are messy, complex, always changing. That perfect life idea is usually just a facade.
It really is.
And real connection, it takes work, constant attention, empathy, and real courage to look past the surface and really see and hear the person you're with.
Absolutely. Their journey just highlights that healing from something like betrayal it's a long road. It's not a quick fix, not a destination you just arrive at. It means facing really hard truths about yourself as much as your partner. It means committing to your own growth and being willing to be incredibly vulnerable.
Yeah.
Ultimately, it's about deciding if there's enough left, enough desire, enough foundation to try and rebuild. And if the answer is no, finding the strength to move forward with understanding and self-compassion. The key, I think, is the courage to do that deep, difficult work, whatever the final outcome might be.
It really makes you think. This story kind of prompts us to ask ourselves, doesn't it? What are the unspoken spaces in your own important relationships? How do you make sure you're really seeing and hearing the people closest to you before that little distance becomes a huge canyon? And maybe reflect, what would you do if you found yourself in Sarah's shoes or Daniel's at any point along this really challenging but maybe ultimately insightful journey?